to the cloud. Good morning, everyone. Texas, Thursday is back after the Thanksgiving holidays. We have a special guest, which is exciting. But before we jump into that, I want to recognize everyone on this call. You guys are taking the time, obviously, to invest in yourselves, which is super cool. We have our Texas agents, and we have some friends and colleagues from the Texas area as well. And then we've got some people from Atlanta, Karen's group, and also our newest place team in Knoxville, Tennessee, which is really exciting. Knoxville is a special place for me, obviously, because I built my business there for a decade and I grew up there. So welcome, everyone. I'm going to take 2 minutes to share with you the work that you're accomplishing. So for those of you who keep track and like writing notes, knowing where we are, I've got some good data for you. Right now, our Texas teams, like Jordan Davis's team and our teams in San Antonio, our teams in Dripping Springs, Austin, Sarissa's team, Laura's team, 79 agents, you guys. We have 79 agents. It's really cool because the level of agents that are joining our world are so talented. I know you guys can feel that too. I'm really glad to be in business with you guys. And I think when you guys hear the next few stats, I read them and I'm like salivating out like what's possible, because time on task over time, you guys, has created these kind of results. And it's the seasoned agents in this group that have created a lot of these results. So I love that we're growing, but we're also growing with like really seasoned people who are sticking around. 825 closed units this year. That's not leases, it's not referrals, this is just sales units. 825. We're real close to Loken Group kind of numbers. I just want you to know that that's pretty impressive. We sell a house in Texas every 9 hours. Like that's pretty impressive. $211 million closed. $211 million closed. You're averaging $255,000 per transaction. The next number is really crazy. $6.575 million in closed GCI. That's gross commission income. 6.575. What does that actually mean? Well, what that means is that's over $3 million paid to our agents. 3 million. It's insane because you know what Chris always says? He always says, you know, we are building this for our agents and with our agents. And I can't think of a better way to really position that than the companies made 6 million, the agents have made over 3 million. I can't think of very many teams, you guys, that are paying out $3 million to their agents. And this is just in Texas. This isn't like the whole bank and organization. So I love how much you love your clients. I love your work ethic and your commitment to your future. And it's awesome. Right now you have $62 million pending. It's an insane number because 6 months ago, you guys, we were at 35 million, just 6 months ago. So to be at 62 million pending, you basically almost doubled in 6 months. And your average price point for pendings is 377,000. So not only did you double the amount of pendings that we have, but you also increased price point by $120,000. Like that's pretty insane. I love it. You have 164 listings right now, and we know that carrying listings is our leverage. Super proud. And today, as we're talking about like vision for your life, I definitely want to give a shout out to all the agents on our teams who have been here, you know, and have made it a career. And what I mean by that is you're in it for the long run. Like you've been here at least a year. And I think that's really impressive. Like I was talking to Jordan. Jordan's got like 3 people who have been with her like 3+ years, you guys. I was talking to Brandon. He's got 2 people who have been with him between like 1+ years. Sarissa, 10 people who have been here at least a year. Laura, 7 people who have been here at least a year, right? Amanda has been with us 5 years, right? In Austin, we have agents who have been with us like for years, 10 of them over a year, right? So 43% of our agents have been with us at least 3 years now, you guys. Like that's insane. I love that. And the reason that's really important is, like, what does the average agent do? Well, the average agent in our industry outside of our team closes 3 to 4 properties their first year, 3 to 4 properties their first year, and they're out of business within the first 2 years, 86% of them. And then we like contrast that to you guys, and you guys are selling 825 properties. Like, I just want you guys to know like how awesome those numbers are, because it's really hard when you're in it every day and you're like, all right, I'm gonna go get one more appointment. You guys are crushing it, and it's awesome. And I'm excited that you're changing the industry. And I'm excited about today because clarity is what leads to that kind of change. And I'm going to introduce you to one of my very best friends, Christy Grossman. I've known Christy now for 8 years. We were pals in one of the classes we used to take on hiring and recruiting, and that was really cool. And I'd like for you guys to get to know her story today. And I think you'll respect her as much as I do after today is over. And my goal for you and my hope for you today is just to really engage in this exercise. So have your pen and paper ready. If you were thinking about zoning out, like this whole power up will be as good as you make it. It's just absolutely about you. Christy is the CEO of Ops Boss Coaching. She teaches nationwide, and she's on stage with Gary Keller. She's probably one of the funniest and smartest people that I know. And like, I've been to her daughter's wedding. Like, she leads a really big life. So today is all about creating that vision for your life like a boss. So Christy, it is all yours for the rest of this time. Thanks for letting us get our housekeeping out, and it's all yours.
Awesome. Let's do this, you guys. I'm so excited. Adelina, I'm going to get teary-eyed. I'm the opposite of Adelina. Those of you guys, first of all, I think I sent one of the very first referrals to your team in Austin when you started 5 years ago. So if Maria is on the call, I want to shout out to Maria and say thank you for taking care of my good friends Isaac and Desi. And I am just so not surprised, but delighted to see what you all are building in Texas. And I want to tell you, probably by the end of today, you're going to be like, how can you and Adelina be really great friends? Because Adelina just gave you all the data and the numbers, and she's all up here. And today is all going to be about the heart and connecting our head and our heart. So let me go ahead and share my screen with you guys. Adelina, let me know if you guys can see.
It's coming up.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay. So today we're going to talk about how to vision your life like a boss. And I remember sitting at a mastermind event and wondering how to connect the dots. So you guys have heard the quotes. You're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Jim Rohn, right? You can be anywhere you want to be in 5 years, Gary Keller. People overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years, Bill Gates. And I said to myself, are these myths or are these reality? So today I'm going to share the story of where I was a few years ago, where I am today, where I'm going. And then we're going to do a journaling exercise to help you vision your future. And then I'm going to close with some practical tips on how you can create the life you want in 5 years. So we spent all this time doing our business goals, but I want to dig in today to why we're doing what we're doing. We want to do a big business and make a lot of money, but why? What's the reason behind that? So first of all, let's start with who am I? And Adelina already told you a little bit. I'm Christy Grossman. I'm the owner of Ops Boss Coaching. My team and I teach all around North America. We focus on operations unicorns, directors of operations, transaction coordinators, TC company owners. I like to call them the wizards behind the screen. And prior to opening my company, I was the COO of one of the nation's top real estate teams. We were one of the first teams in the country to do $1 billion in sales. And I did that for 23 years. At one time, our company was number 5 in Keller Williams. We were the number 1 luxury team in KW. And I loved being in real estate. I love that we have the blessing and honor of impacting our clients and helping them at really important times of our lives. I have always considered real estate to be a vocation, a true calling to help others. In that process, of course, we help ourselves. So I really loved what I was doing. That was me for 23 years. And then all of a sudden, this was me because I lost track of my why. I was a workaholic, and the team I was on did not continue to grow at the same pace that I wanted to grow at. And I was bored and I was frustrated. So there's a quote from Robert Heinlein, and you guys might want to write this down. In the absence of clearly defined goals, we become strangely loyal to performing daily trivia until ultimately we become enslaved by it. And that was the story of my life in that moment until I discovered Paris. Now, that would be Paris, France, not Paris Hilton. And around that time, these are pictures of me actually in Paris. Around that time, my team decided to do vision boards. And I will happily admit to you that I thought vision boards were the stupidest thing ever. I don't know if any of you guys feel that way. You don't have to raise your hand, but you can if you want. But I thought it just didn't make sense to me. You're going to sit around like kindergartners. I don't know, maybe you guys did vision boards. I think you did them last year, maybe at your retreat. And I thought, you're going to magically cut out all these pictures from magazines and glue them on with a glue stick onto a poster board, and they're going to magically come true. It just didn't make any sense to me until I did my vision board. Now, I am a team player and I'm an overachiever. So I did not one vision board, but I did 2 vision boards. And I'm going to tell you just a little bit of a snippet of my vision board story because I want you to understand that a vision board is a tangible piece of accountability that connects your head and your heart, and it compels action. So let me go back. This is a copy of my vision board from 5 years ago. And you'll see in the bottom left-hand corner, there's a picture of an Eiffel Tower. Now, I studied in Paris, in France as a high school graduate. I was an exchange student from my town in Virginia to a small town in France. And I fell in love. We all have that place where we walk in and we just feel like you're home, right? It might be your grandmother's house. It might be the beach. I know for Adelina, when she goes down to Destin and the white sands, you walk out and your soul just kind of breathes. And for me, that's Paris. So I studied there in college. I went back again for my 25th anniversary with my husband. And we had one of those idyllic weeks, right? Just everything that you expect Paris to be, walking by the Seine and having romantic dinners and drinking wine. And we had the most wonderful, wonderful trip. And we said, why didn't we do this before? Why haven't we, gone back? Why did it take us so long to get here? So it was around that time that my team did vision boards, and I put the Eiffel Tower on my vision board, and I hung up my vision boards. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a snippet, and you guys are going to think I sound a little crazy, but that's okay because I am. I want to give you a little snippet inside my head of what my internal thinking was during this time with my vision boards. So I had one vision board in my bathroom and one in my walk-in closet. And every day I'd brush my teeth and I'd look at my vision board and I would see the Eiffel Tower and think, well, how is this going to magically happen that I'm going to go back to Paris? Because it had been 5 years since we had been there and we had intended to go and we hadn't gone. And every day I brush my teeth and I look at the Eiffel Tower and I would literally hear my vision board saying, what are you doing to get to Paris? What tangible activity have you done to get to Paris? Nothing. And after a week, I literally wanted to turn my vision boards back over so they would stop looking at me. But I kept them open because I'm open to learning and change. And over time, my mind started opening. You have something called your reticular activation system, and it's part of your brain. And it's that thing where, for example, you're thinking about what color new car I want to get. Oh, I think I'm going to get a sassy red new car. And you walk out into the parking lot, you're going to notice all the red cars. So my reticular activation system goes into effect, and I start noticing other opportunities around me that might actually get me to Paris. And I realized that I have a friend from college that lives in Paris. And I thought, well, if I'm going to go to Paris, I really want to go for 3 weeks because it's super expensive to buy a plane ticket to Paris. And then I thought I had like this good angel and this bad angel, and the good angel's going, you can't afford to go to Paris, or the bad angel saying, you can't afford to go to Paris. And the good angel's going, but if you go, you should go for 3 weeks. And the bad angel's saying, but you don't have enough money. How can you do that? And the bad angel was really talkative. You can't get away from your business for 3 weeks. How are you going to do that? But every day I would look at my vision board and think, what are you doing to make this happen? What tangible action have you taken? And so finally, I had a conversation online with my friend who lives in Paris. And the good angel saying, why don't you ask your friend if you can stay with him, because you might be able to make your trip more affordable if you stayed with him. And the bad angel saying, but you have no idea how big his apartment is. You're probably going to have to sleep on his couch. And you're 50 years old. You can't sleep on a couch. And the good angel's going, but you can sleep on a couch if it's in Paris, whatever it takes to get to Paris. So these are the things that are going through my head as I'm looking through at my vision board on a daily basis. So I messaged my friend and I said, hey, Reed, we're thinking about coming to Paris next year. And he says, well, how long are you coming for? And I said, bad angel's going, don't tell him, don't tell him. And good angel's going, say 3 weeks. And I said, well, we're hoping to come for 3 weeks. And he said, where are you going to stay? And bad angel says, don't tell him you want to stay with him, because you never impose on people. You would never ask a favor like that. And good angel's saying, but if you could stay in Paris for 3 weeks, you should ask him. Well, the bad angel won, and I didn't ask him. I just said, I don't know where we're going to stay. And he said, Christy, I have lived here for 5 years and no one ever comes to visit us. Why don't you come and stay with me? And the bad angel's saying, you're going to have to sleep on the couch. You're 50 years old. And the good angel's saying, but it's in Paris. You're going to Paris. And so the long story short, we flew to France and we flew all night. I was exhausted. I was convinced that I was going to be sleeping on a couch for 3 weeks, but I was going to be happy about it because it was in Paris. And we arrived and we walked into his apartment, and the French press coffee was on, and I could smell the coffee and see the fresh fruit from the market, the fresh croissants from the bakery. And we walked in, and he had those 12-foot ceilings. I don't know if you've been to Europe, but they've got the ceilings with the crown moldings around the top and the ceiling medallions and those floor-to-ceiling windows that open like this. And the windows were open, and outside the window, I could see the Eiffel Tower. And we walked in and we had brunch, and it turned out he had a 3,000 square foot apartment with 2 bedrooms and 2 baths. And I got to sleep in my own king-size bed for 3 weeks and lay in my bed and look at the Eiffel Tower and watch her sparkle every night on the hour until midnight. And that only happened because of my vision board. So a vision board is a tangible piece of accountability that connects your head and your heart, and it compelled action. It compelled me to take action that I wouldn't have taken otherwise. So around that time, I was still lost because Paris was not my big why. Paris was awesome and I love Paris, but that's not my big why. A big vision was something I didn't have until I learned about the word ikigai, which I'm going to tell you about in just a minute. And my coach took me through a journaling exercise. So I've shared a little bit of my story with you, and I want to help you develop your story. So this journaling exercise gave me some glimpses, not complete clarity, but some glimpses of what my heart said was important, not my head, that would come later, what I was good at and what I felt called to do. So let's talk about ikigai. Ikigai is a Japanese word that means a reason for being or a reason to get up in the morning. So if you look at this picture here, you'll see it's the place where that which you love meets what the world needs, it meets what you're good at, and it meets what you can be paid for. So it's where your passion, your mission, your profession, and your vocation all intersect and come together. So I did this journaling exercise with my coach, and it planted seeds in my unconscious mind, my subconscious mind. I still didn't know what I wanted to do or what was important to me, but I started getting clarity on what was important. And as those seeds started to blossom, I started to step outside my comfort zone, one step at a time. I founded my company. I started teaching and living my passion, which is pouring into ops bosses, all while still leading my real estate team. I started in real estate before assistants existed. There were 12,000 realtors in my board of real estate in Virginia, and there were only 3 assistants. And I knew from experience that there was a huge void in supporting those who were the backbones of real estate teams. As I gained clarity and gained energy and realized that I was leaning into the place where profession, passion, mission, and vocation come together, I got even more intentional and I leapt. Not knowing if I would have been there in June this year, but I will be there next year. My health is better, and I'm even making more money, a lot more money. And so while this process probably took about 5 years, the actual transition from one to the other happened in less than 6 months. So I'm going to take you guys through the journaling exercise that I did with my coach, but I want to read to you a couple of things first. So first of all, this is from Journey to the Heart, and this is about visions. Visions are different from dreams. A vision is a picture that comes from the soul, a small glimpse of light that shines and shows us our path. It is a quick flash of something that hasn't happened yet. It may tell us something about today or 10 years from now. Visions occur when our souls look at the map of our lives, get a sense of where we're going, and tell our hearts how to find that place. The more conscious and clear and direct we are, the more we can tune into and help create the highest vision for our lives. What do you want? What would feel right? What do you see yourself doing? Be clear and concise and then let it go. Sometimes when we run out of dreams, we have to rely on our visions, these small glimpses of light to lead the way. Learn to see the visions in your heart. Learn to trust them, learn to help create them, allow them to manifest themselves, and when the path is dark, learn to be comfortable with these small bursts of light. So, how to create your life vision. Don't expect a clear and well-defined vision overnight. Envisioning your life and determining the course you will follow requires time and reflection. And we're going to talk about some of the tangible things at the end. You need to cultivate vision and perspective, and you need to also apply logic and planning for the practical application of your vision. Your best vision blossoms from your dreams, hopes, and aspirations. It will resonate with your values and ideals and will generate energy and enthusiasm to strengthen your commitment. So I'm going to now take you guys through a whole bunch of questions. We're going to do it really fast. I want you to get your papers and your pens out. I want you to choose a time frame. If you are a big thinker and you're young and you might want to choose 10 years from now, 20 years from now, 25 years from now. If you are struggling with having a vision, choose 1 year from now or 3 years from now. But I want you to choose a time frame where everything is most wonderful. And this will kind of maybe, Sharon shared with me this morning that you guys did writing a letter to yourself as part of your business planning. So I want you to go a little bit beyond that 1 year. So maybe 3 years or 5 years, choose a time frame. I'm going to read a whole bunch of questions. I want you, don't write the questions down. I just want you to scribble and journal. You can draw pictures, you can write words, you can write sentences, whatever you want, but I want you to be as specific as possible. I want you to create a vivid picture when you're answering the questions. How do you feel in that moment? What does it look like? What are you seeing around you? What does it even taste like or smell like? You don't need to answer every question. I'm going to read the questions so fast that it's probably impossible to answer every question. If you hear a question that piques your interest, I want you to just keep writing and tune me out and then tune back in when you're ready to hear the next question. You can, draw, do whatever you want. It's free form. Nobody's going to see this but you. I want you to go as big as you can go and be really bold in your thinking. I want you to set aside all the hows. Don't think about, well, how would I make that happen? Or do I have enough money to do that? Or how would that work with my family? I just want you to dream really big. This is your chance to fantasize. I want you to pull out your calendar right now, if you have it in your phone or wherever you have your calendar. And I want you to schedule a time 3 to 6 months from now, before we get started, where you can go back and look at your notes again. It's really important for you to come back to this at a later date. So let's take 10 seconds right now for you guys to go ahead and schedule that time. And then we're going to jump into the questions. So you guys ready? You still with me? I know Sharon told me that I have agent distraction here. I want you to know that I'm a high D. I'm a 99% D. So I want you to stay with me. This is going to be worthwhile. And here we go. Are you ready? All right. So it's 1 year from now. It's 3 years from now, 5 years from now, whatever your time period is. What amount of money are you earning? What does your lifestyle look like? What kind of home are you living in? What are you doing with your time? How much money are you giving away? How much time are you giving away? What kind of car are you driving? What are you passionate about? What material possessions do you have? How much are you working? What luxuries do you have? How much money do you have in the bank? How much money are you saving? How much money are you investing? What are you investing in? What does your business look like? Or what does your job look like? What does your team look like? Who are you working with? And what level of responsibility do you have? What have you accomplished? What does your family look like? What kind of relationships do you have with loved ones? What is your body like? Your health? Your wellness? What knowledge and skills have you acquired? Have you learned a language? Have you learned to lay hardwood floors? Have you become a coach? What knowledge and skills have you acquired? In what areas are you recognized as great or exceptional? Where do you vacation? How often are you vacationing? Who is with you on vacation? What have you done that you always wanted to do? Maybe you've written a book, you visited a foreign country, you started a volunteer program. What have you done that you always wanted to do? Think about the lifestyle you want, the debt you may need to pay off, the money you want to invest and save and give, and now, how much money do you want to earn? How much money are you saving? How much money are you investing? How much money are you giving? What material things would you like to purchase and how much do those cost? Are you debt-free? What debt do you want to pay off and how much is that? What experiences would you like to be able to pay for? What do they cost? Are there other people that you would like to buy material things for or experiences? What do those cost? What training are you attending? What events are you attending? Do you have coaches? Do you have business consultants? Do you have life coaches? Do you have mentors? Do you have accountability partners? Are you mentoring others? What books are you reading? What skills have you mastered? What are your physical goals? What are your spiritual goals? What are your emotional goals? What really matters to you in life? Not what should matter, but what does matter? What would you like to have more of in your life? Setting aside money for a moment, what do you want in your career? What are your secret passions and dreams? What would bring more joy and happiness into your life? What do you want your relationships to be like? What qualities would you like to develop in yourself? What are your values? What issues do you care about? What are your talents? What is special about you? What would you most like to accomplish? What legacy would you like to leave behind? What will you have accomplished already? And how will you feel about yourself? What kind of people are in your life, and how do you feel about them? What does your ideal day look like? Where are you? Where are you living? What state are you in, or what country are you in? Are you in a condo? Are you in a single family? Are you on a ranch? What are you doing in your ideal day? Are you with other people? Are you with one person, a group of people? Are you by yourself? How are you dressed? What's your state of mind? What does your physical body look like, and how do you feel about that? Does your best life make you smile and make your heart sing? If it doesn't, dig deeper and dream bigger. What is God calling you to do? Who are you being called to spend time with? What gifts have you been given that you'd like to share, and what does that look like? So that was our last question. If you want to continue journaling, feel free to do that. But I want you to go back now and look through your notes and circle anything that pops out that feels important or exciting to you, or things that you see repeated. Just skim over them and circle them. Those are probably some of the glimpses of the vision that your heart has. So I want you to go back 3 to 6 months from now and look back through these notes and make more notes and see whether those things still jump out at you. If they do, then you're probably on the path to the vision. And I now want to take us kind of back into the practical side of things. And then at the end, I'm going to ask you if you guys want to have any ahas that you want to share. So let's talk about how we translate our vision into reality. So I had 5 areas that really helped me translate my vision into reality. And like I said, it was 5 years between when I did this exercise and when I actually manifested the reality of it. That's because I'm a slow mover. And it took somebody like Adelina to kick me in the rear end to accelerate this. So I want to give you a way to accelerate that. So first thing is, I want you guys to have a people plan. Right now, on your piece of paper, I want you to write down the 5 people that you're spending the most time with. Just really fast. Who are the first 5 people that come to your mind? Now, are those the 5 people that match up with the people you want to have the most influence on your life? If not, I want you to get purposeful about who you're spending your time with. I will tell you that 8 years ago, literally, it came up on my Facebook page this morning on my memories. 8 years ago today, I sat in a KW recruiting class next to Adelina Rotar, who had driven to Virginia from Tennessee, and that friendship has changed my life. It's why I'm doing what I'm doing today. Be purposeful about the people you're spending time with. Who are you in coaching with? Who are your mentors? Who is your tribe? Who are the people holding you accountable to your dreams? You know, Mo Anderson calls them your dream buddies. Who are the people that are building you up and pushing you toward your dreams, as opposed to the people tearing you down and saying, oh, that's unrealistic, right? Do you have buy-in from your family, right? If you have this big vision and you have a significant other, or you have children, or maybe you're caring for parents that are involved in your daily life, or maybe taking care of your kids, is everyone in your world bought into the vision? So we want to have a people plan to make sure that we have the right people in our life. Then we want to have a growth plan, right? So it's the time of year, you guys have done all your business planning. I'm hoping that you also have a growth plan. If you have not, I want you to write out, what is my growth plan? In order to live this big life that I have envisioned, I have to change who I am, not just what I'm doing. So one of my favorite things, if you haven't already taken it, would be to take Quantum Leap. I think it's one of the best classes that Keller Williams offers. I've taken it 4 times. I've taken it with Gary Keller, with Mo Anderson, with Dick Dillingham, and I forget who the 4th one was. I think Jane Rivers. My husband has taken it twice. My daughter has taken it. Invite your family in. When you're going on a path of growth, you don't want to outgrow the people around you. You want to bring them along with you. So what is your growth plan? Be purposeful about the podcasts and the books that you're listening to. Be purposeful about the experiences that you're participating in. So for example, when I was in high school, I had a huge fear of hospitals. And so I decided to get over my fear and push myself into the uncomfortable zone, that I would volunteer and be a candy striper at the hospital. So find the places where you can be uncomfortable, and it doesn't have to be in your business life. It can be in your volunteer life. You know, if you're on a committee at the school, volunteer to be the leader of the committee instead of just on the committee. Go into those uncomfortable places. The other part of having a growth plan is making sure that it's action oriented. A lot of people go to classes, listen to books, listen to podcasts, but they don't actually take action. So I want you to have a rule that you have to take action within 24 hours. If I listen to a book or I go to a class, I have to have an action that results from that book or that class within 24 hours. And that will propel you forward at a much faster pace. And then the third plan that I want you to have is a mind plan. I call it a mind plan. We have to have white space in our lives to have time to think and manifest what we want. So that could look like, it's going to depend on what your work schedule is. For me, it used to be Wednesdays because Mondays and Tuesdays were all the contracts coming in for the weekend. Thursdays and Fridays, I was people gearing up with new listings going on the market. For me, Wednesday afternoon was my white space time. Now it's Friday afternoon. So what that can look like is journaling. It can look like, if you could see in my office, I can't turn my camera, but I've got a pink mirror with glitter sparkles all over it because I love pink. And I just have dry erase pens that I write on. If you see around my office, I have Home Depot whiteboards that are $5 pasted all around my walls so that I can journal, and when ideas come to my mind, I can do it. I want you to have a morning routine and an evening routine. That's part of preparing your mind for the vision that you're going to. Are you doing affirmations? Are you doing journaling? Whatever those things are, make sure you have a routine. And then I want you to have a business plan, right? You guys have already done your business plan. I want you to actually look at your business plan. Don't write it in December and not look at it again until next December. I have a 135 that goes from my ceiling to my floor in my room because I blew it up really big because I wanted it to be big in front of my face. I will tell you that once you write down your plan, it will become a reality faster. So if you are starting to get a glimpse of your vision, and I will tell you, Adelina is the most beautiful example of this. She told us what her vision was when she started this team 5 years ago. I mean, Casey, some of you guys who have been around since the beginning, like it's 2.5 million GCI in Austin, boom, 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 boom. She was clear from that 5 years ago, and all it has been is a matter of execution. Now that makes it sound easy. It wasn't that easy. It was a matter of consistent time on task over time in an incredible way. But I will tell you that if you have a glimpse, if you wrote things down that seem so wild, like how could I possibly live a life that big? If you write down and make a business plan, it will happen faster. And I will tell you that on my team, I was on my team for 23 years. It was a family team. And so I thought it was going to be, I wanted to be really intentional about replacing myself on the team. And I wrote out a 5-year plan. Because I'm an ops person, I had the best spreadsheet you have ever seen with all this 5-year transition plan. And this person in my world named Adelina Rotar said to me, Christy, if you are so passionate about living this vision and teaching and coaching around the company, why are you taking 5 years to make it happen? And when she said that to me, the light went off. I already had the plan. All of a sudden, it happened in 6 months. So if you guys write that out, make your vision will happen faster than 5 years. You won't be slow like me. The last plan I want you to have is a money plan. Have you met with a financial planner, right? Especially those of you who are newer into the business on this call, don't have the limiting belief that I had, which is I'm not making enough money to meet with a financial planner. If you meet with a financial planner, your plan will have clarity and legs and you will get there much faster, right? So I want to go back to, let me go back to our PowerPoint here. I want you to risk more, fail more, and learn how to succeed through others. That's kind of the cap on that. So we've gone to, here's your big vision. You maybe have a very clear vision, or maybe you were just like me and you just have a few glimpses of light. I want to give you a final thought, and then I would love to hear a few ahas from you on the exercise. And of course, because I love Paris and I love France, I chose a French philosopher, René Daumal. You cannot stay on the summit forever. You have to come down. So why bother in the first place? Just this: what is above knows what is below, but what is below does not know what is above. One climbs, one sees, one descends, one sees no longer, but one has seen. There is an art of conducting oneself in the lower regions by the memory of what one saw higher up. When one can no longer see, one can at least still know. So hopefully we took you up to the top to get a little bit of a glimpse of the vision. Back down, now you get to climb the mountain. You've got your Sherpa and all your supplies, and you can climb back up to make your vision happen. And I'd love to know if any of you guys had any ahas when you did your journaling. Was there anything that excited you, anything that you already knew that was affirmed, something that maybe randomly came out that you didn't know that was important to you? If anybody wants to share, I think we're a small enough group, you guys can just unmute and jump in.
Yeah, Christy, I'll go because you had mentioned that I've been here since the beginning with Adelina. Over the last, I'm in my 5th year, so over the last 4 years, I've seen her determination and those consistent tasks done consistently over time, right? And that's what's led to this. And so as I'm journaling here, I wrote out quite a bit, but honestly, it's just like a more intense or more clear version of what I'm already doing, because I've already built this life. I'm already building a life by design. And so it's really like, this is realizing through this journaling process, where I'm headed and that trajectory. So it pays to already be going in the right direction and being on the right team and having thought leaders around you. It's really kind of an unfair advantage.
It's really an awesome advantage. I will tell you, having had Adelina would be embarrassed. She probably doesn't like me talking about this, but having had a back seat to watching her build over the past 8 years, I have never, ever met anyone who was more consistent, more clear, more strategic, and had more integrity than Adelina Rotar. She's one of the leaders I respect in the industry more than anyone. So those of you who are new on this team, boy, you guys joined a great rocket ship. But what I loved about what you said, Casey, is the more tangible we can get in our vision, the faster it will happen. Because doing the consistent work over time is not easy. That's the hard part. But the more you can connect the head and the heart, the easier it is to do that work because you remember why you're doing it. Who else had some ahas that they want to share?
I had one. I'd known for a while that I wanted to sell real estate for a little bit, but then eventually transition into coaching. I don't think most of us want to be pounding the pavement, in 10 years, we want to grow. And so coaching has always been, coaching and training has always been in the back of my mind. And so I wrote it down, when you said, what do you want to be doing? Where do you want to be spending your time? It was mostly coaching. And so you're like, what classes do you need to take? And I was like, well, if I want to do that in 5 years, I need to take adult education classes, like how to talk to adults. So I'm just like, okay, now I got to learn where to find classes to teach adult education.
Love it. So that informs your growth plan. And that's the cool thing about being part of Ben Kinney and being part of Place, is you guys have so much opportunity for growth within your organization, which is awesome. Anybody else?
I'll go. I'm Amanda, Austin, Texas. And I'll just say that I really loved how you mentioned about your thinking time, your downtime, your time to have white space, as you call it. And it is so true. It doesn't matter where you are in your career, honestly. It could be your day one, it could be 3 years in, it could be 10 years in. Having time that you block to let your mind just be and think without noise of everything else and reflect is absolutely imperative. And if you don't make the habit today, starting today, and you don't put that time on your agenda today to do that, you're going to look back, just like saying, what really hit me was that when you said about the Paris trip, and you're like, why has it been 5 years? Why did it take me that long? Put the time to set aside for yourself. I'm doing it now, and it's amazing how much clarity I'm getting. So thank you so much for reminding everybody to put that time aside.
I love that, Amanda. I'm a huge time blocking person. So, and I'll tell you that habit actually came from Adelina. I now make my Fridays sacred time. So I call it sacred time. What's your sacred time? Do you have sacred time built into the week? And sacred time includes family time and, spiritual time, whatever that is. But yeah, white space is super important in today's world. We're actually going to be doing if any of you guys are interested, I'm having a speaker come on to talk about the neuroscience of distraction next week. So our minds are actually programmed chemically to seek distraction. And the chemical, when we are scrolling through Facebook or texting or just looking at all of our notifications popping up, the chemical that our brain produces is the same chemical that heroin addicts' brains produce when they do heroin. So we are chemically programming ourselves to be addicted to distraction. And she's going to help us with some tools, neuroscience tools, to unprogram that so we can make sure we're doing what we want to do. And white space is part of that. So Adelina, I'll let you wrap up. I know you guys are like on time with your schedule at Ben Kinney team. So
we're sometimes on time with our schedule. We do our very best. I was surprised how much, I don't know about anybody else, I was surprised how much can come out of those questions. Is there any chance, Christy, that we could get a copy of those questions?
I will share them with you. Yes. I don't normally share them because they're proprietary information, but I'll share them with you.
Probably did it. Okay. And the reason I'm getting a lot of private messages, which I'm so glad. You guys, this is a Thursday in the middle of December. You can't really ever, you don't know what the engagement's going to be like, but all the messages I'm getting right now are, you guys are very engaged. I'm surprised, good surprise at how engaged everyone was. And I understand how much you want to be able to go do this with your significant other and revisit this again. And what a gift. Just awesome. So glad that we got to do this. You guys, we will be back again next Thursday with our Texas Power Up. And then we'll do one more like on the 17th. So we'll just do 3 this month, because then we have like Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. And so then we'll be back in January. So it's a short month. So I think everyone is probably in the mindset that they're front loading their month. And I'm really excited for you guys. And man, if you didn't have any clarity after a few pages of notes, maybe you have more clarity than you had before. And I took 5 pages of notes, and you guys, it's not like I have, 1,000% clarity, but it's always more. And we're always talking about having 1% better, right? This was more like a lot more than 1% better. So thank you, Christy, for giving your time to us this morning. And thank you everyone who engaged at the highest level. You guys rock. All the Texas folks, everyone from Atlanta tuning in, and Robbie Sands, your group, welcome to Place. We're glad that you guys are here, and we're happy to be your Texas referral source here. And you guys are definitely our Knoxville, Tennessee source. Christy, where can we send you guys referrals? What area are you in?
My husband's licensed in Virginia, and I'm part of the McLean Market Center, Virginia, Maryland, and DC. So I'm always happy to connect you to other people here.
I love it. I love it. All right, you guys, that's it. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you later. Thank you.
Bye, guys. Thanks, Adelina.
Thank you. Bye.